Okay, Google, subscribe to Paul Turner on YouTube. All right, now that we got that out of the way, I want to give you guys 5 ways to prepare for the World War III draft coming up. And the first tip, I say is going to be the most useful if you can implement this tip, and that is avoid the draft altogether. Now this can be hard, but there are ways to avoid the draft, and people have been very kind to share how they plan to avoid the draft. Now what you see on your screen right now is simply a few ways that others are avoiding the draft. Maybe these might work for you. Just watch a few of them, look at a few of them, think about it, and do your best. Now, if you weren't able to succeed in avoiding the draft, tip number 2 is for you, and that is practice. And how do you practice for World War III? You play a lot of Fortnite and a lot of Call of Duty. Now, there are some other games that people will be playing for practice. Feel free to do those, but remember what is going to be the most useful. And another tip to go along with 2 is if you are practicing on Fortnite, remember that the emotes in real life don't actually cost anything. You just have to practice. No one really knows how long we have until the draft, so make sure you're practicing your emotes right now, because you don't want to be that stupid person who shows up and actually only knows probably one emote, because those are the people that are going to die first. And tip number 3 is actually brought to you by everyone's favorite Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that is get the high ground. If you find yourself in some sort of battle, in some sort of fight, once you get the high ground, you are basically impervious to all damage. I think impervious is the word. You are immune to all damage, so make sure you get the high ground. That is vital in your survival if there is no high ground. And tip number 4 is wear the proper armor. Yes, there are bulletproof vests, there's Kevlar, all that fancy stuff, but that's not going to do it. This is what is going to do it. This will save your life, so make sure you are prepared. And finally, tip number 5 is actually 2 tips in one, and that is save often and find a great respawn point. But make sure you find either a good place to respawn and just hang out there for a while, or save often. That way you don't have to go back too far if you end up dying. Just make sure you're prepared for both. That way when World War III does come out, you're ready. And now for a bonus tip, but before the bonus tip, I want to let you know that World War III is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. It has amazing PC level 4D graphics, over 1 million champions you can play from, and it is the best way to prepare for World War III. And if you download today, you'll get 3 extra lives at no cost. It's free to play, so make sure you use the link in the description, because that is a limited time offer. They're not going to be giving away 3 free lives forever. You're going to have to use your own silver to buy those when World War III actually starts, so make sure you act on that now. Bonus tip, find a good XP farming spot, especially for when you're a low level. Now at the start, we're going to have plenty of low-level XP farming spots to help you level up and get better gear. And as more maps join the war, we'll have plenty of higher-level farming spots for those of you who have survived long enough and reached a high enough level. All right, and that was 6 tips to help you prepare for the draft.